Hey everybody, welcome to Business Planning with your GPS or your 135. Today we are going to talk about the history of the GPS or 135, where it came from, what that is, and then we'll break it down, build out some goals. I'll walk you through an application that you can use, your priorities, your strategies, and then we'll make a commitment to our new business plan, and I'll walk you through some next steps that you can take on your 135. So the history of the GPS or the 135 comes from Gary Keller. I have a great story to share with you guys. When Gary Keller received an email one day, he opened it up and he read he saw a 13-page business plan. So Gary Keller, before even reading that business plan, closed the email, wrote him back and said, or closed the business plan, emailed him back and said, no way, Jose, send this in a 135. So Gary Keller uses a 135 for any business planning that he does. And you'll learn as you look at your 135 for the first time that Gary Keller does this because a 135 is the most clear way to communicate your goals. So today when we build out our 135, we're going to use it for our annual goal, what our annual goal is for our business. But no, 135 is extremely versatile. You can use a 135 for your personal goals. You can use a 135 when you're planning events. You can use this pretty much for any planning that you need to do. So let's get into what a 135 is. Your 135 is, or 135, let's go after what that stands for. You have one goal, so that's your 1, 3 priorities or pillars, so that's your 3, and 5 strategies to complete those pillars, which is your 5. It's also known as a GPS, G for goals, P for pillars or priority, and S for strategies. So the first thing that we need to learn is in 5 years, my life would be amazing if blank happened. I want you to take a moment and write down in 5 years what would make your life amazing. Now, if you've watched our goals video, you have already completed this part and you're welcome to move forward. If you have not watched the goals video, we can do this quickly together. In 5 years, what would make your life amazing? I want you to write it in 2 categories. Personal, what would happen in 5 years personally for you that would make it amazing? And in your business, what would make it amazing life in 5 years if your business was at blank? Go ahead and take a few moments to dream about your 5-year goals, and then once you have that done, go ahead and click start. All right, now we're going to talk about that 5-year dream. What would it look like, or what do we need to do in 3 years in 3 years to hit that 5-year dream? So personally, where do we need to be in 3 years to live our 5-year dream? And personally, where do we need, or I'm sorry, in our business, where do we need to be in 3 years to hit our 5-year dream? Go ahead and write that down. Once you have it written down, go ahead and press play. Now that you have your 3-year goals written out, let's talk about your 1-year goals. What do you need to do in the next year to reach your personal 3-year goals? And what do you need to do in the next year to reach your personal or your business 1-year goal? When you're building out your 1-year goals, make sure you have your 2020 production in mind. So how much do you want to profit, as well as how many transactions do you want to do? Once you have this written down, go ahead and press the play button and we'll move on. So we had first our number 1 goal. The second is the priorities or pillars, your 3 of your 135. When we're filling out our priorities or our pillars, the first thing that we should always keep in mind is that the easiest place to get business is from the people that we already know. This is our database. Now, your database can be as big as you allow your mind to think it to be. If you can think of every single person that you have ever spoke to, they should be in your database. And your goal is to build relationships with these people in the database, or solidify your relationships with these people in the database, and also share that you're in real estate. And then by doing so, you'll increase the likelihood of you being able to collect a deal from your database. We'll talk more about this in strategies. Your priority 2 should be a traditional lead generation pillar, something like open houses or farming or door knocking, things that are a more traditional pillar. And last but not least, priority 3, I want you to ask yourself, what is something you love to do? We'll go ahead and go through each of these priorities one by one on the 135. Let me go ahead and pull it up here. So first and foremost, our number 1 goal, we should put how many transactions we want to close. Okay, let's just say that I want to close 24 transactions or deals this year. Then again, priority 1 or pillar 1 is going to be my database. Priority 2 or pillar 2 is going to be a method that I'm going to get business from that's more traditional. Some options are open houses, door knocking. We could circle dial. If you're asking what circle dialing is, it is a system that you can use to call a specific neighborhood or geographical location. And when you call that location, you would have some sort of item of value to present. Maybe you just sold a home or the brokerage just sold a home in that neighborhood. You could dial that neighborhood, let them know that you just sold a home, and ask if they know anybody who is looking to buy from selling that home. You've met many new buyers or many new buyers that are looking to buy in their home, right? We could open houses, door knock, circle dial. For sale by owners are very popular. Expireds. Is another pillar of business in real estate we could go after. Some other pillars of real estate business that we could go after is building out a farm. And what a farm is taking the open houses, door knocking, circle dialing, events, and adding them all up together to a local geographical area to then be the known real estate agent in that area. You can also choose to make social media a pillar of your business where you run social media ads. So these are just a few pillars that you can use for the second lever of your business or second pillar of your business. I would encourage you, on top of looking at these in more detail through our through Command, through YouTube videos, to also take a look at some other potential pillars out there that you can find by going onto our Command and Connect website. Pillar number 3, again, is something that you love to do. When you decide your third pillar, there's 2 questions that you must ask yourself. The first question is, can I do this on a weekly or regular basis? The thing that I love to do. So we have agents in the office who really enjoy hiking, who really enjoy camping, bike riding, who enjoy going to wine tastings, whatever that may be for you. Can you do that once a week? The second question is, that thing that you do love to do and that you're doing once a week, is there an opportunity to invite new people to it? Maybe we're a huge sports fan and we can start a sports fan group, okay? So whatever that third thing is that you love to do, go ahead and write that down for your third pillar. I love to do yoga and to swim. Maybe you love to hike. Maybe you enjoy cars. Or maybe you just enjoy drinking some wine. Whatever that may be. After we build out our 3 pillars, the next step is to strategize how we are going to get business from those 3 pillars. We know if our goal is to get 24 deals, we have to find those 24 deals within these 3 pillars. So let's figure out, let's strategize, how are we going to find these 24 deals? The first thing when strategizing your business is to make sure that your goals are SMART: specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-based. So we'll have very detailed strategies built out for these 3 pillars. Now, the great news is we have already built out the framework for your strategy with your database. What we know is that for every 10 people we have in our database, we should be able to get 1 piece of business. That means if we have 100 people in our database, 10 deals should come just from knowing 100 people. Now, that doesn't magically happen, and we have to build strategies around allowing that to happen. After lots of studies that Gary Keller has facilitated, we have learned that if you reach out to a client 33 times a year for 2 years, you'll be able to see that 1 to 10. So our goal is to make sure we build out a strategy as soon as possible for you to start reaching out to your sphere 33 times a year. The good news is if you start reaching out to your sphere 33 times a year and start doing this from day 1, implement this system from day 1, we see a high likelihood of you being able to get a significant amount of business from your sphere even within your first year. So let's just go back to our 135 and talk about what a 33 touch plan is. So a 33 touch plan means that we need to communicate with our database at least 33 times a year. Some ways to do this is to think about the normal ways that you communicate with the people that you know already. A lot of people enjoy to text or call. So we would recommend that you would text or call. You could do this once a quarter, once a month, depending upon the size of your database. So I like to text my database at least 12 times a month. Or I'm sorry, at least 12 times a year. In these texts, I also build out a plan for what I'm going to say every month. So in October, since as I'm recording this video, it's October, the conversation that I'm having with my sphere or my database right now is I am looking to build out my calendar for my 2020 business. I only accept 5 clients at a time. So I would like to hear from you if you know anybody or if you yourself are planning to buy or sell in 2020 so I can get you on my calendar. In November, I may send a happy Thanksgiving text, or I may send an invite to our Santa event that we hold in December. In December, I'm probably going to send that Merry Christmas text, or how about a New Year's text? I may help my database by sending a text for what are your New Year's resolution goals, and I'm looking for somebody to partner with to hold me accountable. Do you want to build a group to do that? And so I have a whole plan built out on what I'm going to say in each text, so I don't even have to think about it every month. I just send the text that I need to send. I try to mix this text up with things that are going on in my business and personal things that are going on. So I'll do personal touches in my text as well that just say personal touch for the month of February, and I'll get on their Facebook page, see what's going on in their lives, and send them a personal text about that. If I don't have their phone number to text them, I'll just send them a Facebook message, a direct Facebook message. So there's my first plan. I'm going to send 12 texts a year to those people. I also know that we provide great value with our landing pages, so I make sure that all of my clients or all of my database is getting emails for the landing page, and you do have to put a neighborhood in for the landing page. When I do a landing page, if I don't have their personal address, I'll just put the area that I know them from. So if we went to high school together, I send them a search on the area of high school and then ask them if they'd want me to refine that search. These landing pages you can build out in Command. They are ready for you, and so it's no work for you. You just set up what's called a campaign in your landing pages, or a smart plan, I'm sorry. Set up a smart plan, and right here on our screen, let me make this a little bit bigger, you can see Command allows us to do a monthly neighborhood nurture. The other thing that Command does for us is a quarterly call plan. So as well as my text messages that I'm going to send out every month, how about I want to call them every quarter as well. Again, you get to make up your own, so if you don't enjoy calling every quarter, you can do something else, but I'm going to go ahead and do 4 calls. I know Command will prompt me on that call, so I don't even have to think about it. I just set this smart plan up for my client, and then Command will remind me to give them a call every quarter. Command also does a birthday campaign right now, and so it is a 4-touch campaign. So I'm going to also leverage that so I don't have to think about it, and I'm going to put in 4 touches for birthday wishes. And let's count and see where I'm at. I'm at 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31. I need 2 more touches. And so Keller Williams holds 2 events for the office. And that is an Easter Bunny event in the spring, which we're thinking about revamping to a summer barbecue. And then the other one is a Santa event in December. So here I have my 33 touch for my pillar of my database. And many of these touches are already going to be doing, Command is going to be doing all the hard work for me, either sending out those touches or reminding me of when I need to do those touches. After I do this well for 2 years, imagine how much more or how many more clients I can get depending upon how big my database is, right? If I have 30 people in my data or 300 people in my database, I now have the opportunity for 30 deals just from doing this, from texting 12 times, 12 landing pages, 4 calls, 4 happy birthday wishes, or 4 steps to a happy birthday wish, I should say, and 2 Keller Williams events. So go check out our Command Smart Plan so you too can leverage this to build out a great 33 touch campaign. And soon to come are customizable 33 touch campaigns that you'll be able to do your whole touch campaign in Command. Pillar 2, if you choose to do open houses, door knocking, circle dialing, FSBOs, expired farms, events, or social media, no matter what you choose, or maybe even something that's not on this list, you'll need to build out 5 strategies around that are smart strategies. I like to choose farm because it offers open house, door knocking, and circle dialing all in one location. So just to build out some ideas for a strategy, if I'm going to farm a neighborhood, I know consistency is key. So I'm going to door knock at least every quarter. So that means 4 times a year, door knock. I may also take this one step further, and when I to build out my door knocking plan, I may have a plan separately from this of what am I going to door knock 4 times a year with. So maybe one time I'm going to do a market stat update, another time I'm going to do a food drive, then I'm going to do a coat drive, and then another time I'm going to knock around the neighborhood for a listing that I have in the area. Okay, I also know for farming I need to be consistent, so I can't just door knock. I'm going to also hold 4 community events in my neighborhood, and I may build out a plan for all 4 of those community events as early as possible as well, or at least an outline, where maybe my first event is a block party, my second community event is a movies in the park kind of thing, maybe I do another community event around a holiday type of thing. We have one agent here who is looking into Christmas tree pickup. And then my other 4th community event could be something along the lines of an event that I invite the community to at the office so they remember I'm in real estate. My next strategy could be to circle dial. So maybe every quarter, so 4 times a year, I call my neighborhood, and I'm either calling them about a listing that I have in the neighborhood, 4 times a year calling, about an open house that I have in the neighborhood, about market changes in the neighborhood, or about how I can offer them the opportunity to refinance with no lender fees or no closing costs. And we do that through Keller Mortgage. Strategy 4, maybe my goal is to hold 4, or let's call it 10 open houses a year in the neighborhood. Okay, so that's almost 1 a month that I'm holding. Maybe my goal is to hold even more than that. And then my last strategy Perhaps my last strategy would be, let's see, we're door knocking, we're doing community events. Maybe 4 times a year I'm sending out marketing flyers. So whether your strategy is to, oh, that's interesting. Okay. Whether your strategy is to farm, to door knock, whatever it may be, you get the understanding a year. I don't know why it doesn't like that. You get the understanding that you want to build out strategic plans around here. Now, if I was going to do door knocking the whole time, I would break this down even further. Instead of saying 4 times a year I'm going to door knock, I would say 1 time a month I'm going to door knock, and I'm going to door knock 100 doors, whatever it may be, for the area that you want to door knock. And maybe I could even do that here if I want to door knock 4 times a year, and I know in order to knock every door in my farm, I need to knock for 30 minutes every day or an hour every day. I would write that in here, okay? When you're choosing a farm, if you do choose a farm, you'll want to make sure that you can maintain all of these for consistency. And so determining the size of your farm will be based on how often you can door knock, to determine how many homes you will be working with. Strategy 1, no matter what your pillar is, strategy 3, I'm sorry, no matter what your pillar is, the first thing I would recommend is some sort of community page or community area where you can continue to speak with those people. So maybe you have a Facebook page or a meetup page, something along those lines where you create the group. And then you also post regularly on that group. So post 1 time a day on the page. Another strategy could be for the actual meetup. So 1 time a week, meet up, and encourage them to bring a new friend every time. Goal for 3 new people each time. Maybe you have another strategy where you're going to send them a monthly newsletter. Depending upon what you're interested in, that monthly newsletter can just be about that interest. Maybe you want to, maybe you're very passionate about yoga. In a monthly newsletter, you can send new findings on yoga and health. Strategy 4, monthly newsletter. Strategy 4 and 5 can be very similar to what we are currently doing with our other pillars. So keep in mind of maybe events that we could possibly do, not only just a 1 time a week meetup for what we like to do, but maybe 2 events every year that you're inviting them to that's similar to, if I'm meeting up every week to do yoga, then maybe I'm also inviting them to 2 world-renowned yoga events. And strategy 5 can be something along the lines of maybe every new member that you meet, your goal is to take each one of them out to a lunch outside of that. So a lunch with new member. Here's the great thing about your 135. Today I gave you some ideas on how you are going to collect the deals that you want to collect in your next year of business. But you really get to decide how you are going to do this. It's completely up to you. Now your database, you get to decide how you're going to touch them 33 times. Your second pillar, your traditional real estate pillar, you get to decide what you enjoy to do in that pillar and do that regularly. Maybe you love events more than you love calling. So maybe you do more events than you do calling. Maybe you enjoy open houses more than you do creating a flyer. So maybe you do more open houses and flyers. It's completely up to you. And then priority 3 is just something that you love to do, which who gets to say that they're in while they're at work, they're doing what they love to do. Some people, but not a lot, you get to say it. So that's pretty cool. So now that you have your 135 outlined, the goal is to stay committed to this 135. What we know is with a business plan, it takes about 90 days to discover if it's really useful, if it actually works. So I ask for you to commit to this business plan for at least 90 days. To commit to this business plan for 90 days, I would first ask you to create some successful habits. So every day, write down your 135. Write down, or every week, write down your 135. Make a habit out of keeping your 135 in front of you. Another successful habit is when you go to a class or at an education event about your business, bring your 135 with you. Then you have a clear vision on what information is important to the success of your business and what information is irrelevant to the success of your business. As you're listening to that educator, you should have your 135 next to you, and you'll start to hear them talking about maybe open houses, and maybe a pillar of yours is open houses. Then you know to really start to look at your business plan and identify opportunities where you can make that an even better plan from open houses. Maybe at this educational event, they start talking about farming. Maybe farming isn't a part of your business plan. Then you know that this may not be very relevant to what you have in your goals in your business plan, and you may choose not to not to add any of that into your new business plan. The other thing to do is to be accountable to people. So you want a personal accountability partner, somebody at home, maybe a family, a friend, somebody who you can feel comfortable asking to hold you accountable to this new plan. You also want a peer-to-peer accountability partner. So this is a person that is in a similar position as you are in their business, that understands the place that you're in. And then last but not least, you want a mentor accountability partner, somebody who has been doing maybe one or all of these pillars and can help support you in critiquing and advancing your plan. Focus on the small victories. So after you've built out your 135, give yourself a pat on the back, because that is a victory. Then when you start looking at the actionable items on your 135, give yourself another pat on the back when you do them. Maybe you need to create a group for your third pillar. When you do that, make sure you focus on that victory. And then last but not least is a call to action. Make sure that you are using this 135 on a regular basis and that you're breaking it down to a weekly activity.